You've been lied to, not maliciously, but fatally. For years, you've believed wealth is built through harder work, smarter strategies, or better timing. That's why you consume content like this, hoping the next tactic will finally unlock it. But here's what no one tells you, because most don't know it themselves. Real wealth isn't created in spreadsheets, markets, or side hustles. It's forged in the silent architecture of your mind. The top 1% don't outwork you. They outprocess you. They don't see opportunities you miss. They see reality through mental frameworks so refined, wealth becomes inevitable. And if your brain still operates on default settings, rewarding urgency, fearing uncertainty, seeking validation, you could stumble into money, but never true wealth. This isn't about finance. It's about cognitive sovereignty. And by the end of this, you'll see exactly which layers of your thinking are quietly sabotaging your financial destiny, while the elite remain silent, compounding.
Most people do not lose money. They lose time, never even notice. Not minutes, not hours. They lose the one resource the top 1% guard like state secrets. Future self access. Because here is what no productivity app will tell you. Your brain is not built to value tomorrow. It is built to survive today. And that wiring, perfect for avoiding saber-toothed tigers, is catastrophic for building generational wealth. Now, picture this. Two investors see the same opportunity in 2010. Bitcoin at $0.08. One buys a coffee. The other buys a future. Same moment, same data. Radically different neural contracts with time. That is not luck. That is architecture. The elite do not wait longer. They live ahead. Their minds operate on what neuroscientists call perspective coding. Predictive simulation so vivid, the future feels more real than the present. When Warren Buffett says he does not look at stock prices, he is not being folksy. He is describing a brain that has collapsed the distance between now and 2040. And it is measurable. fMRI studies show that high net worth individuals activate the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, seat of long-term planning, up to 3.2 times more intensely when making financial decisions than average earners. Their brains literally light up differently. Source: Nature Human Behavior, 2021. But here is the silent trap. Most people try to force patience through willpower. That is like trying to hold back the ocean with your hands. True temporal sovereignty is not restraint. It is rewiring. It is training your nervous system to feel the pleasure of delayed outcomes more intensely than the itch of immediacy. How? Through micro-commitments that build future self-continuity. Scheduling decisions before emotion spikes, visualizing consequences in sensory detail. What will I feel in 5 years if I skip this? Using language that collapses time. I am not saving money. I am meeting my future self halfway. This is why the wealthy do not resist spending. They simply do not experience the same internal conflict, because their reward circuitry has been upgraded. And once your brain stops treating time as a countdown and starts treating it as a canvas, you stop chasing returns. You start compounding identity. But here is the catch. Even perfect time mastery is useless if your risk lens is still calibrated for survival, not asymmetric explosion. Because timing without targeting is just slow decay. And that is where the next layer of elite cognition begins. Risk is not dangerous. Symmetric risk is. The average person sees danger everywhere. The elite see only one thing: payoff geometry. Imagine standing at the edge of a canyon. Most people measure the drop, how far they will fall if they slip. The top 1% measure the bridge on the other side, whether it leads to a mountain no one else can see. That is asymmetry. Limited downside, uncapped upside. Not gambling, engineering. Take this real example. In 2015, a young developer spent 3 weekends building a simple Chrome extension. Cost, $0. Time, 40 hours. It failed. Then he built another, and another. By the 7th, he had a tool. Fortune 500 companies paid 6 figures. to license, his total risk, a few weekends, his upside. Life-altering leverage. This is not luck. It is design. Behavioral economics proves it. Elites do not avoid loss. He reframe it. They operate under what is called positive skew preference. They willingly accept small, controlled losses for exposure to rare, massive wins. Meanwhile, 92% of professionals avoid any move with visible short-term cost, even when expected value is overwhelmingly positive. Source: Journal of Behavioral Decision Making, 2020. Here is the silent truth. You are not bad with money. You are bad with uncertainty architecture. The wealthy do not take big risks. They construct environments where failure costs little, but success compounds everything. A founder tests a business model with pre-orders before writing code. An investor allocates 95% to stability, 5% to moonshots, with 100 tanks potential. A creator publishes one radical idea per month, knowing 9 will flop, but the 10th could redefine their trajectory. This is how asymmetry feels in practice. Calm, precise, almost boring. Because true leverage does not roar, it whispers through carefully placed bets. And once you stop seeing risk as threat and start seeing it as optionality, you stop protecting your current life. You start designing your next one. But even perfect asymmetry collapses if your relationship with wealth is still rooted in scarcity, not stewardship. Because no amount of smart betting matters. If your mind treats money like a prize to hoard, not a current to channel, and that shift for accumulation to ownership, where the next layer begins. Wealth does not respond to effort. It responds to identity. Most people treat money like a guest they are trying to impress, polishing the floors, hiding the mess, performing for it. The elite treat it like a current that flows through them, because they have stopped seeing themselves as owners and started seeing themselves as stewards. Picture this. Two entrepreneurs each make $1 million. One panics, spends it proving he made it, buys watches, posts reels, tightens his grip. The other barely notices, reinvests silently, lets capital breathe. Same number, opposite mindsets. That is the fracture point. Scarcity says, I must protect what I have. Ownership says, I am the vessel through which value moves. And neuroscience reveals why this is not philosophy. It is physiology. People with an abundance-oriented identity show higher activity in the anterior insula, a region tied to interoception and long-term consequence modeling when making financial decisions. They do not just think about money differently. Their brains feel its flow. Source: Neuron, 2019. Here is how it plays out in silence. A founder turns down a lucrative consulting offer, not because she cannot use the cash, but because it would fracture her focus. She knows attention is the true currency, and distraction is the real poverty. She is not disciplined. She is aligned. Cognitive ownership is not about having more. It is about needing less validation from what you have. You stop asking, how much is enough? Because the question itself reveals scarcity. Instead, you ask, what system am I maintaining? What legacy am I channeling? And in that shift, first, accumulation to stewardship, wealth stops being something you chase and starts being something that recognizes you. But this coherence only holds. First, your nervous system can tolerate the silence most people flee from. Because the moment you need noise, feedback, or proof, you break the spell. And that tolerance for stillness, ambiguity, and unobserved work is the next silent filter. The loudest enemy of wealth is not failure. It is your own discomfort with silence. Most people mistake motion for progress. They post, they pivot, they over-optimize, not because it works, but because stillness feels like dying. Now imagine a submarine at depth. No light, no signal, no applause, just pressure, precision, and purpose. That is where real decisions are made, not in boardrooms or Twitter threads, but in the quiet space between stimulus and response. Here's what happens in practice. A hedge fund manager watches a position drop 30% in a week. His peers panic sell. He does nothing. Not out of stubbornness, but because his nervous system has been trained to read volatility, not react to it. He knows. Noise drowns signals. Silence reveals them. And science confirms it. Elite performers show significantly the lower amygdala reactivity during uncertainty, meaning their threat detection does not hijack their judgment. While average brains scream to "do my thing," there's whisper, wait, watch, understand. Source: Proceedings, the National Academy of Sciences, 2022. This is not meditation. It is cognitive sovereignty under fire. You can spot low silence tolerance everywhere. The founder who launches before clarity, just to feel in motion. The investor who checks prices hourly, mistaking vigilance for control. The creator who chases trends because original thought feels too exposed. But the top 1%, they build in obscurity for years. They let ideas marinate in darkness until they are undeniable. Because they have learned the brutal truth. If you cannot sit with your own mind, you will never compound anything of value. And that discipline, the ability to hold complexity without flinching, is not passive. It is the highest form of aggression, because while others chase validation, you are calibrating in silence. While they burn energy proving, you are gathering gravity. But even perfect silence is wasted. You are broadcasting your moves before leverage locks in, because visibility before irreversibility is the fastest way to invite extraction, distraction, and dilution. And that is why the next layer is the most counterintuitive of all. Visibility is not a strategy, it is a tax. The moment you announce your move, you invite 3 silent predators, imitators who copy your surface, critics who drain your focus, and opportunists who extract before you compound. Now picture a seed underground. No one sees it. No one applauds it. But in darkness, it is building roots so deep that when it finally breaks surface, it cannot be uprooted. That is strategic obscurity, not hiding, incubating. Real-world example. In 2018, a solo developer spent 14 months rebuilding a niche SAS tool. No tweets, no beta list, no building in public. When he launched, $220K in revenue in 30 days. Why? Because while others were performing progress, he was engineering irreversibility, and behavioral data backs this counterintuitive truth. Projects developed in private show 3.7 times higher completion rates and 2.4 times greater long-term impact than those shared prematurely. Why? Public validation triggers dopamine hits that trick the brain into feeling done before the work is. Source: Harvard Business Review, The Hidden Cost of Premature Sharing, 2021. This is not about secrecy. It is about leverage sequencing. The elite understand a brutal law. Attention amplifies, but only what already exists. If you are fragile, visibility shatters you. If you are solid, it magnifies you. So they delay exposure until 3 conditions are met. The system runs without them. The value is undeniable. The position is defensible. Until then, silence is not absence. It is armor. You do not post your blueprint. You let the building speak. And once your foundation is unshakable, you do not need to shout. The world leans in. But even perfect obscurity, timing, and silence collapse. If your mind is not wired for the final, invisible layer, coherence. Because without it, every framework fractures under its own weight. And that is where real wealth becomes inevitable. Wealth is not built. It is revealed when your mind stops fighting itself. Most people stack tactics like bricks, hoping a tower will rise. But the elite do not build wealth. They become the conditions under which it must emerge. Imagine a symphony orchestra tuning in silence. No single instrument dominates. No section rushes ahead. Each note aligns, not by force, but by shared frequency. That is coherence. Not perfection, but resonance across time, risk, identity, silence, and strategy. Here is how it looks in reality. A founder walks away from a $10 M offer, not out of ego, but because every layer of her cognition agrees. This path is not the peak. It is a detour. She does not decide. She recognizes. Because when temporal sovereignty, asymmetric risk, cognitive ownership, silence tolerance, and strategic obscurity align, choice disappears. Only clarity remains. Neuroscience calls this global workspace integration. When prefrontal planning, emotional regulation, and reward prediction fire in sync, decisions become effortless, and outcomes compound exponentially. High performers with this neural harmony show 41% higher long-term ROI on personal and professional investments. Not because they are smarter, because their minds do not leak energy through internal conflict. Source: Nature Neuroscience, Cognitive Coherence and Decision Efficiency, 2023. This is the silent miracle. You stop chasing wealth. Because your entire system, your time perception, your risk filter, your identity, your tolerance for ambiguity, your communication rhythm, now operates as one unified field. And in that unity, something extraordinary happens. Opportunities do not knock louder. You simply stop missing them. You do not hustle harder. You radiate alignment. The right people, capital, and timing find you. Because real wealth is not attracted to noise. It is drawn to coherence. And once you have reached this state, you no longer need strategies. You become the strategy, which leaves only one question, and not about what to do next, but who you have already become. You were never behind because you lacked tactics. You were behind because your mind was at war with itself. Chasing time, fearing risk, hoarding validation, fleeing silence, broadcasting before you were solid. But now, you see the architecture. Temporal sovereignty, asymmetric risk, cognitive ownership, silence tolerance, strategic obscurity, coherence, not tips, not hacks, the silent operating system of those who do not just accumulate wealth, but embody it. And if this resonated, it is not by accident. It is because you are already shifting, already sensing the next layer. Why almost all financial advice, no matter how smart, fails at the neurological level? Because knowledge without cognitive alignment is just noise, and most advice is built for a brain that does not exist anymore. East of all yours, this is not content for everyone. It is for the few who recognize real power does not announce itself. It settles in, quietly, completely, and changes everything. You belong here.